Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing some Salamangreat test hands. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in every single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So I'm really excited to show you guys Salamangreat, and I'm actually going to show you guys the one card combo for Salamangreat right off the bat, because this deck is absolutely crazy. Now that we have Salamangreat of Fire, this card took this deck to a whole new level now that we have basically a Rhoda that says Salamangreat in the name, which just makes insane combos to help us make our Link 4 and make some really insane boards. So let's go ahead and show you guys that quick combo of the one card combo with Salamangreat of Fire. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put a Salamangreat of Fire in our opening hand with 3 random hand traps or interruptions that we can use on follow-up turns, like hand traps, infinite impermanence, Book of Moon, stuff like that, to be able to show you guys how crazy this card actually is. This card is basically like the Stratos for the deck, but it's got some really insane effects. So we're just going to sit these hand traps to the side, and we're just going to put these completely over here. We're not even going to use these in the combo until the very end. We're just going to use Salamangreat of Fire. So we're going to normal summon out our copy of Salamangreat of Fire, and this card has the ability of when it's normal or special summoned, you can add a level 4 or lower Salamangreat monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, but it does lock you into fire monsters for the rest of the turn, which is not that big of a deal, because going first, all you're really trying to establish is your copy of the new Raging Phoenix, which is a crazy powerful card that can instantly get us to a copy of Roar or Rage, which is really, really cool. So what you're always going to search off of this card is going to be your copy of your Gazelle. Gazelle is very important to be able to get to off of this combo, because this card is very, very important for your plays. So what we're going to do at this point is link away the copy of the Salamangreat of Fire, and we're going to summon out our copy of Baylynx. Baylynx is really important because now Salamangreat has left the field. Baylynx will go off, and we will search our copy of Sanctuary off the copy of Baylynx, and Gazelle will special summon itself to our side of the field. Then to your copy of Gazelle will go off to be able to send a copy of a Salamangreat monster from deck to grave. And your copy of Gazelle's best friend is usually going to be your copy of Spinny, because Spinny can revive itself back out of the graveyard. If you already have a Spinny in your opening hand, you open up some more plays where you can send cards like Falco to revive itself, Weasel to be able to bring itself to your side of the field. It's just really cool plays that you can go off with this particular card, but there's so many cool plays that you can pull off with this deck now. So at this point, what we're going to do is bring back our copy of Spinny to our side of the field. And Spinny and your copy of Gazelle, the reason that these two cards work so well together is because they're both level 3. So we can go ahead and overlay both of these on your side of the field for a copy of Mirage Stalio. Mirage Stalio is amazing because just by detaching material from this card, it lets you special summon a Salamangreat monster from your deck in defense position, which is a really cool ability to be able to just put that card on your side of the field. So we're going to detach our copy of our Gazelle off for a copy of Mirage Stalio to get that card back in the graveyard so we can recover it later in the combo. But then at this point, we're going to go ahead and special summon out to our side of the field a copy of Jaguar. Jaguar helps us out a lot because this card can actually revive itself back out of the graveyard, so we can make Sunlight Wolf and then revive it back to our side of the field, and then use the ability of Sunlight Wolf to get us additional cards. So at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and link summon a copy of Sunlight Wolf using Baylynx and your copy of Jaguar, which is really, really good. Because now at this point you can use the ability of your Jaguar to put your copy of Baylynx back into your extra deck and then revive it back to your side of the field, which is really good to be able to bring it back to your side of the field, because now your copy of your Sunlight Wolf go off and add the copy of Gazelle back to hand. Because if a monster is normally or special summoned to a zone this card points to, except during the damage step, you can add a fire monster from your graveyard back to your hand. Now, a really cool thing about your copy of Sunlight Wolf is it can not only add cards like Gazelle back to your hand, but you can get cards like Salamangreat of Fire back to your hand, or you can even get back your copies of your Ash Blossoms, which is really insane to be able to get cards like Ash Blossom back to your hand off the Sunlight Wolf's ability. If you're already set up in your hand and you're just trying to establish more negates, you can grab copies like Ash Blossom, which is really good. So at this point, we have a Link 2 and 2 monsters on the field, so we can go ahead and make our copy of our Raging Phoenix, which is really good just to go ahead and make our copy of Raging Phoenix, because at this point, we're just going to go ahead and activate our copy of Salamangreat Sanctuary, which can let us reincarnate summon one of our monsters by using it as a material. We summon a monster from the extra deck with the same name, which is really cool. So at this point, we're just going to go ahead and link all of these away off our side of the field. And since the copy of Spinny was actually attached under the Mirage Salio, it being banished does not go off because it wasn't technically on the field. It was just detached. It wasn't even detached, so it does go to the graveyard, so we can use it again later. So at this point, we're going to summon out our copy of Raging Phoenix, and since Raging Phoenix, and we have our copy of our Sanctuary that we searched off our copy of our Balinks, we can now link away our copy of Raging Phoenix off the field to summon out another copy of Raging Phoenix. Now, at this point, the cool thing about this particular play and summoning out our link 4 is this card is an extremely sticky card to be able to deal with, because if it is destroyed by battle, your other copy of Raging Phoenix, or by card effect, your other Raging Phoenix will go off and bring itself back to your side of the field, and it will come out at double attack points, which is really crazy because it gains the attack points equal to the monster that was just destroyed, so they can tag in and out for each other, which is really, really cool. And I love that about these cards, that they're just so hard to deal with, because now the deck has turned into hand traps, summoning out your Raging Phoenix, and then OTKing your opponent on turn 3 with access code, which is kind of what the deck did before, but it gives you a lot of a better opening play than Maguska Pass. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to use the ability of our Raging Phoenix that on Link Summon, if it used Raging Phoenix as a material, we can add a Salamangreat spell or trap from our deck to our hand. So you kind of got a choice here, whichever one you want to add, depending on what you have in your hand. You can either grab Rage to give you a pop 4, or you can get Roar to be able to have a negate. It's totally up to you which one you grab depending on the situation and the matchup, and it's kind of up to you which one you pick. I like to go for Rage if I have more cards in my hand so I can OTK my opponent on the following turn. Like if I have cards like Ash Blossom to stop my opponent in the tracks, the copy of the Droll to stop them from searching, and I already have a negate like an Imperm, you can go ahead and grab cards like your copy of Rage, because cards like Evenly Matched, you're just going to keep this card on the field, so it doesn't do a lot against us. It does deal with a couple of cards that we might have on the field, but we're basically leaning towards hand traps anyways, so you can live through an Evenly Match, which is really cool. So you can grab something like a copy of Rage. In this card, like, that's what's so cool, is the one that's in the grave is the one that's going to go off. So you just want to keep a fire monster on the field. So I like to grab my copy of Rage off of this card's ability. So we're going to put our copy of Roar back in the deck, and we're going to go ahead and shuffle up the deck to see what we draw for the follow-up turn. So what we're going to do at this point is we're just going to basically set up the rest of our field and show you guys exactly what our hand looks like. So off of the normal summon of our Salamangreat of Fire, we did establish this insane board that we basically just normal summoned Fire, went in for this complete play, and we have all of this like card advantage on the field. We have our field spell, and we started out with 5, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. So we went plus 3 off of a single normal summon, and that's without any extra extenders in the hand, like your copy of Weasel or any of the other cards that we have now for the deck. And that's what's really amazing about this particular deck now, and what I think, and why I think this deck is going to be like really good this format, is because like it's so easy to establish fields like this, and that's really amazing. So at this point, you're going to set up your plays. So we actually have like 5 interruptions, which is insane. So we have the pop 4 because we have the Raging Phoenix. You have Ash Blossom in the hand to stop your opponent from searching. You have something like a Book of Moon that you can set to your side of the field, and you have Imperm to be able to set to your side of the field as well. And then for follow-up, we have the Gazelle that we grabbed out of the graveyard, which is really nice. If our opponent didn't hand trap us through any of this, we basically just win the game. And even if they hand trap us through this, it's usually pretty easy to extend your plays to be able to just go into your copy of Raging Phoenix anyways, which is really nice. So at this point, we're going to pass over to the opponent, let them do their thing, and we can basically just activate our cards to stop them and basically board wipe them at the end of their turn. You can activate the copy of Rage and pop multiple cards on the field. Book of Moon's going to flip whatever they normal summon out, which is really nice. And then you have Ash and Droll that can also stop your opponent from searching and then stop them from searching for the rest of the turn. And then if they do somehow destroy your copy of Raging Phoenix by battle or by card effect, which is insane, this card has a crazy powerful ability that when this card, or actually if a fire monster you control is destroyed by battle or by card effect, while this card's in the grave, you can target one of those monsters, special summon this card, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to that monster's attack points. So if they destroy this one, your other one comes out of the graveyard at 5,600 because it'll target the other one that was just destroyed and summon itself to your side of the field, which is just insane to be able to do. But you can only use each effect of it once per turn, so they have to destroy it twice, which is really tough to do. So we're going to go ahead and say that they did everything that they could, and we were left with a copy of Gazelle and this on the field, that they did destroy it, and they've completely board wiped us except for this, and we now pass to us. So we're going to go ahead and draw into a copy of Spinny. So at this point, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to OTK your opponent with an access code through this play without fire. You do not want to use fire on the second turn. Salamangreat of Fire. This card right here. You don't want to use this card on turn 3 because you want to be able to make access code and OTK. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're just going to say normal summon out the copy of the Gazelle, or you can go ahead and discard Spinny. It's totally up to you, but we're just going to normal summon out Gazelle. So Gazelle's going to go off, and we're going to send a monster from our deck to the graveyard. So I like to usually send from my deck to the graveyard a copy of, say, Falco at this point, because if you send the copy of Falco, you can recover back your copy of your Rage, which is really cool because if it's sent to the graveyard, you can actually target a Salamangreat spell trap in the grave and set that target to your field, which is a really cool ability to be able to use with this just to grab that card back out of the grave. So we're going to go ahead and grab that back out of the grave, set it back to our side of the field, and then we can discard the Spinny, which we don't even have to because we already have a Spinny in the grave set up, which is really cool to already have the Spinny set up. So we can just revive back the Spinny from the graveyard, and we can also use the ability of our Jack Jaguar to be able to bring back to our side of the field the copy of Mirage Stallion in just a second. So what we're going to do at this point is you can actually bring back, if you want to, your copy of Jack Jaguar in a second, because it has the ability, if you control a Salamangreat Link monster while this card's in the graveyard, you can actually target a Salamangreat monster in the grave, shuffle that target back in the deck, and if you do special summon out this card to your side of the field, which is a great ability to be able to do, and I really like that. So if this wasn't even destroyed, and you had this still in the extra monster zone, you had this really crazy play to be able to do, to basically use the ability that if it did not get destroyed, and I want to show you guys this because it's so powerful, you can actually put the Mirage Stallion back into the extra deck and special summon out the copy of Jaguar to your side of the field to set up your play at this point, and then overlay both of these here to make your copy of Mirage Stallion, to be able to then detach, and you've already established like a really crazy board. We're actually going to make it down here to be able to detach the copy of Gazelle to then bring back a copy of another card, which is just really cool to be able to special summon something else from your deck that's a Salamangreat card. So you could summon like a Falco to your side of the field if you didn't already summon Falco, or you can summon something like a Foxy to set up your play, which is really good to be able to do, to just go ahead and establish a Foxy in the graveyard. So at this point, what we're going to do is now we have a really cool field set up. We have this like really insane field, and we can go in for stuff like Splash Mage to revive stuff from the grave. You can bring out Link Decoder to be able to summon out to your side of the field. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and link away the copy of Jaguar that's already gone off this turn to summon out a copy of Link Decoder. Now, a lot of people look at this card and they're like, oh, it's just like a Link 1 whatever. No, this card is an extender that makes it so a Link 3 turns into a Link 4 extremely easily, because now I can make Splash Mage, bring something back, and then make a copy of Heat Soul, and this is now a different attribute, which is really good. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and link these two cards away to summon out a copy of Splash Mage to our side of the field. And then Splash Mage says I can target any Cyberse in the grave and special summon in defense position to my side of the field. So we're going to go ahead and bring back the copy of, say, Foxy. It doesn't matter. It's not going to stay on the field long. And we're going to go ahead and link these cards away, the copy of the Link Decoder and the Splash Mage away, to summon out Heat Soul. Now, Heat Soul has a really cool ability that you can actually activate the effect of Heat Soul to draw a card, which is really, really good. I love that about Heat Soul. It's so good to just help you extend your plays and go in for more plays with this particular setup, and it's so, so helpful with this particular deck. I love that so much about this card, and it makes it so easy to OTK your opponent. Now, the cool thing is the copy of the Link Decoder actually revives itself. Since we used it to be able to summon out the copy of Heat Soul, this actually revives itself to your side of the field, and that's really, really nice to be able to do, because now we have an additional monster on the field. Now, I really, really love that play, because it's so easy to establish that copy of Heat Soul on the field, and it just helps out a lot overall. Now, at this point, you have so many different options that you can go for, because if you have an additional extender in your hand to be able to grab, you can like extend the plays even further, or you can even bring back your copy of Falco, because it lets you target a, it has the ability that if this card's in your graveyard, you can actually target a Salamangreat monster you control and return that card back to the hand. And if you do, special summon out this card from the grave, which is a really good ability to be able to do. And I love that, to be able to do that, because now at this point we can actually bounce the copy of Foxy back to the hand, or you can link the Foxy away for a copy of Balinx, which is great to be able to do, to be able to establish another monster. And then you can use the copy of the Falco to be able to put this back, special summon out the copy of Falco to your side of the field, and then use Foxy's ability that if this card is in your graveyard and a face-up spell trap card is on the field, discard a Salamangreat and special summon this card, then destroy a face-up spell or trap, which can be your copy of Sanctuary. So we're just going to discard our copy of Jaguar, pop this on the field, and then special summon out the copy of Foxy to then make our copy of our Update Jammer. And now we're pretty much set up to be able to make access code, or you can even make your copy of your transcode first if you want to make transcode first to be able to give you an additional attribute, because this card has the ability that will let you target a link 3 or lower Cyverse monster in the graveyard and special summon it to a zone this card points to. So you can do that as well to be able to make it with these two cards right here, make your copy of transcode right here, then use its ability to revive back Update Jammer, and then you just link these two away to summon out your copy of access code, and you have this insane field already set up. And you can also use the copy of access code to target your copy of your Raging Phoenix to be able to boost it up by 4,000, to boost it up all the way up. Now, the really cool thing about this particular line with the deck is your copy of access code can now pop 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you have to, 5 cards on the field, because we used 5 different attributes, and we have 5 different attributes with earth, wind, dark, light, and fire in the grave. The only thing we don't have is light. We have fire, water, dark, wind, and earth. We don't have light in the grave. We have everything else that you can pop 5 cards on the field, pop those cards, and then go in for game, especially since this card can attack twice, since we used Update Jammer as a material, which is just absolutely crazy. So let's go ahead and do some shuffle test hands to show you guys what this deck can do, because this deck is crazy powerful, and I want to show you guys exactly what you can pull off with this deck, because this deck is just insane. I wanted to show you guys that combo because I know it's a long combo to pull off, but like it's just so good, and like it's just really insane. But let's go ahead and shuffle up the deck and see what we can do. And as always, guys, if you'd like to check out the deck profile, definitely check that out down in the description down below for any deck on the channel. And this deck has like so many ways to be able to get to your copy of Salamangreat of Fire now that is just actually insane. So we're gonna go ahead and shuffle up the deck and see what we can do for our test hand. So let's go ahead and see what we can draw. So we're going to go ahead and draw to a copy of Cyanide Mining. We've already got our copy of Salamangreat of Fire, our copy of Pot of Desires, Roar, a copy of Droll, and a copy of Jaguar. Now this is kind of what I was talking about before. We're just going to activate the copy of Cyanide Mining right off the bat. And you don't activate something that a lot of people like confuse about Desires in this deck is this, it needs to be the last card out of your hand. You want to get all your combo pieces out of the deck, and this just digs for hand traps. Like that's what this card exists in the deck for. So we're going to go ahead and activate Cyanide Mining to add from our deck to our hand a copy of Salamangreat of Fire. So we're going to go through this a little bit faster than we did before. We're going to go ahead and then normal summon Salamangreat of Fire. Salamangreat of Fire is going to go off. We're going to add a copy of our Gazelle from our deck to our hand. Always add Gazelle. Gazelle is very important to be able to get to. Link it away to summon out your copy of Balinx. Balinx goes off, and you get to add from your deck to your hand a copy of the Field Spell, which we're going to add a copy of Sanctuary off that ability. Then your copy of Gazelle special summons to your side of the field, sending from your deck to the graveyard a copy of Spinny, because we already have the copy of Jaguar in the grave, but you're always going to want a Spinny in the grave so that we can do this and revive it back to our side of the field. And then once we do, we're going to go ahead and overlay them both to be able to make Mirage Stallion. We're then going to detach the copy of Gazelle off of it to be able to special summon from our deck a monster, which I'm actually going to special summon a copy of Falco, because we already have a Jaguar in the grave. You don't need 2 Jaguars in the grave. We already have one in the grave. So we're going to special summon out the copy of Falco to our side of the field instead, because this is going to help you out in the long run of things, just to have an additional extender in the graveyard that we're not going to banish off Desires. So then we're going to link these two away, summon out the Sunlight Wolf, and then once you do, you're going to go ahead and use the ability in the graveyard of Jaguar to put a monster back, which can be your copy of Balinx. Put back the Balinx, special summon this card to your side of the field, activate Sanctuary, and then go ahead and link all of these away, or actually, excuse me, once you do special summon this back, you'll actually get to grab Gazelle back out of the grave and add it back to hand off the effect of Sunlight Wolf. Then you activate your copy of Sanctuary. Then you go ahead and link all of these away. Be sure that you grab Gazelle back out of the grave off of Sunlight Wolf. That's very important for follow-up. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to make Raging Phoenix. Then we're going to immediately link this Phoenix away for another copy of Phoenix to your side of the field, which is very important to be able to just get your copy of Phoenix. Now, something to note that's really neat is if I didn't have Roar and I had Rage in my hand, you could have sent Roar to the graveyard because it has the ability that if a Salamangreat Link monster is link summoned to your field using a monster with the same name as material, you can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So you could send this instead of your copy of Falco, and you would be able to set this card at this point back to your side of the field. If it was in the graveyard, you would just set it to your side of the field, then grab Rage, and you'd have both of them instead of having Falco in the grave, which is kind of neat. So then we're going to activate the effect of Raging Phoenix, and Raging Phoenix will let us grab from our deck to our hand a copy of Rage. You can grab Circle or Will if you want to, but since we're going first, we're grabbing the copy of Rage. So at this point, what you're going to do is just set your cards to your side of the field or activate your copy of Desires at this point, and we're going to banish 10. So let's go ahead and shuffle up the deck and see what we're banishing off the top. At this point, I'm going to show you guys, it doesn't matter. It does not matter what we banish because everything that's important except for like Weasel is in the graveyard, and Weasel's just an extender. So we're just going to go ahead and shuffle it up and draw 2 and hope for hand traps because that's what we're trying to get. So at this point, we're going to go 5 right there, and we're going to go 5 right there. And we're going to go ahead and check and see what we hit after we draw our 2. So we're going to draw 2 and get a Circle and a Weasel. See, we got Weasel. It doesn't even matter at this point. So at this point, what we're going to banish off of that is going to be Flame Buffalo, our copy of Book of Moon, Cyanite Mining, Imperm, Spinny, Ash, Imperm, Foxy, Imperm. So like 2 of each hand trap in there, or all 3 of our Imperms, 2 of our Ash, and like a book. Like, that doesn't even matter. And we got a Circle to be able to search and continue playing if we wanted to. And you have the copy of the Weasel, so we can go in for Salamangreat of Fire next turn if you want to, or you can grab an extender if you want to, like a Spinny or something like that, but you're already pretty much set up. Like, it doesn't even matter. So we're going to set both of these to our side of the field. We now have a Negate and a Droll, which is just going to end our opponent's turn. The Droll doesn't go face down. We're going to go ahead and pass over to the opponent. Once we do, we can basically just flip both of these against the opponent, roar at them to be able to stop their anything that's basically an Infernity Barrier, and then we have Rage to pop whatever's left on the field. We then go to our turn, draw a card into a Droll. We could also Droll them, by the way, since we had the original Droll in our hand. And then you just go in like we did before, because you have pretty much the entire graveyard set up that we can just use the ability of Jaguar like we did before, put back the copy of Mirage Stalio, and then special summon this to your side of the field. Spinny can revive back to your side of the field, and then we can summon out the copy of Gazelle. Gazelle will go off and send something from deck to graveyard, which can be a copy of like a Spinny, or a copy of Jaguar, or Foxy, whatever you don't want to draw into. Probably Foxy, I guess. Because we're already set up. And then you can go ahead and overlay these two right here, make a copy of Mirage, just like we did before, detach this, special summon something from deck, which can be a copy of the Jaguar. Now, something important right here. Don't bring out Salamangreat of Fire because it will fire lock you. That's very important. So we're going to go ahead and special summon that out to our side of the field. And then once we do, you can go in for the Link Decoder if you want to go in for Link Decoder right here to be able to bring it out to your side of the field. You can also go in even further since we have the copy of Foxy to be able to discard Weasel to the graveyard if you want to, or you can just special summon out Weasel because Weasel's just an extender. So special summon out Weasel to your side of the field, and then you can go ahead and link these two away for Splash Mage if you want to go in for Splash Mage at this point, and then go Splash Mage ability to revive back a card from the graveyard, which is just really cool to be able to bring back anything that you want, like a copy of the Gazelle to your side of the field, and then you can basically just go in with these two directly in for your copy of Update Jammer, just like we did before. And then we also have the copy of Foxy in the graveyard to pop this, but we don't have anything in the hand because we actually special summoned out the Weasel, so we don't have anything that we can use. But you basically at this point can just do this. Like, you don't even have to go in for the copy of the you don't have to go directly in for the copy of the Deco Talker Heat Soul. That's just extending. You can just use these two right here if you want to go in, but you can also do this if you want to and link those two away for your copy of your transcode if you want to, but you can't bring anything back over here because you've locked your zone. But that's fine, because at this point, we may not even need to. We can just do this and link these away right here, summon out your copy of access code down here, and then use the ability of your access code to be able to target Raging Phoenix in the graveyard, and you're pretty much set up at that point, because we still, even with this field, have a 1, 2, this can attack twice, by the way, 1, 2, 3 banishes if you want to. Well, you'd never banish this. You just banish the Sunlight Wolf, but you still have all of this that you can banish off of that play, which is really cool. Like you have all of this that you can do, that you can just go in with a 3 pop and then swing. And then when you go into battle, also you have the ability of your Salamangreat of Fire that can, when you battle with this, can pop this, and then the other one that's in the graveyard will go off and revive itself as a 5600 attack point monster. So you just go 56 with this, and then you go 63, and this already popped 3 cards, and you already popped 4 at the end of the turn, so your opponent's probably got nothing left by the time you even summon access code, which is really funny. And you can also revive back your copy of Foxy at this point if you want to. Well, you can't because you don't have anything in hand, but you still have all that cool play. But you just banish this to pop this when it battles. When this battles up here, you pop it, and then you use the one in the graveyard to revive that one that was in the graveyard, and you swing for a 56, which is just really, really crazy. So I think that's going to do it for this one, guys, just to show you guys exactly how Salamangreat plays now. I really wanted to show you guys that 1-card combo. I feel like that's the most important takeaway from the video, is that is like extremely important. If you guys would like to check out the deck profile, as always, it is down in the description down below for every single test hand video. I always include the deck profile down in the description down below. But if you guys would like to check that out, definitely do so, because this deck is crazy now. This support is like insane and super, super fun. So that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.